So in this segment, we're going to be discussing. Apparently, Nigel Farage is going to return as leader of the Reform Party. He's going to stand as an MP in Clacton as leader of Reform UK. So if we look at who's the current MP for Clacton, it's Giles Watling. So he's the current MP there. And he's been reselected from local members, and he's going to be the candidate there. I do wonder what his vote share is. Let's see if we can just find it quickly. The vote share is massive. The Brexit Party didn't run back then because they only ran in, I think, Labour seats. So that's quite interesting to see. He's got a stonking majority there, 72.3% of the vote share. So I think this is a really Brexit-y area. It's on the coast as well, so I think they might be, worried about, the small boat crossings. So originally I was going to do the segment on Nigel Farage being accused of bottling it, but I can't do that now. So, I was going to talk about how he got lit up by what's his face, Piers Morgan on Question Time. He mocks him for failing in his last 7 attempts, which is fair, but why did you bottle it? Why didn't you run? I've never bottled anything, and so yeah. So, Farage saying he wasn't going to run initially, and it might be worth actually looking at his analysis here.
This, therefore, must be the most propitious set of circumstances for you to be an MP. Why did you bottle it? Why didn't you run?
I've never bottled anything. I mean, of all the people you've interviewed over the years, I think I've stood up more against the establishment, taken more abuse than anybody you've ever talked to. So bottling it's not true. 6 weeks to start from scratch in a constituency in 6 weeks with my name, with electoral law as it is, allowing outside interference. I've only ever stood...
First of all, electoral law doesn't really allow outside interference, does it? What's up with that? Like, it's meant to stop it, and I think that's something Farage, given his record, might have welcomed, but clearly not.
Once for Parliament, seriously. And what happened? What happened? One of the Conservative agents got a 9-month prison sentence, which was suspended for massive overspending. I would face just the most enormous barrage against me to do that without data, because that's what you need to win seats. You need to know. Don't forget, Labour and Conservative in these seats have been knocking on doors for 100 years. They know where their voters or potential voters live. I could have done it. I could have given it 6 weeks of my time, but I couldn't have tried to take part in the national debate, challenging some of the nonsenses.
You're just saying you would have lost it. It was a waste of time.
It would have been very hard for me indeed. But if I can help reform, get a swing, and what's interesting in the first week is, despite the battering ram of the Conservatives, who've been going all out for the reform vote, the polls are barely moving.
That's true. That the Conservative Party did go hard for the Reform UK vote, but I think that kind of, those people kind of saw through it and realised that the Conservative Party are all talk on those kind of issues. They talk about stopping the boats, but they can't do it. That's the problem. They can't do it, and so I think those kind of reform voters have realised that they don't trust the Conservative Party, and they probably don't like Rishi Sunak because he's brown. Let's be real, and so that's probably a factor in it as well. But I was gonna talk about these videos of this man getting absolutely pieced up, but I'm glad I didn't, because he had an announcement at 4 p.m, and so yeah, he's taken a dig at both parties. He's gone for an interesting seat here because there's a big Conservative majority, but it's also a very Brexit-y place. I think they had the highest percentage of vote share for Brexit, so it should be interesting. It should be interesting. So it looks like, Farage saying he's going to stand as MP for Clacton. Reform leader refuses to rule out Farage announcement he will stand. He's going to be there in the leadership debate as well if they have all the candidates there. So that should be quite interesting to see how he deals with the parties and things like that. He is a good debater, but that's mostly because hosts give him way too much space to come up with nonsensical claims, like when he claimed like all of Romania could be here by tea time, and hosts let him get away with racism when he said I wouldn't want to live next door to a Romanian person. So that's what we're probably going to see, if we're honest. Avid amounts of racism from Farage. But that's the reason why he got to where he is because the media kept platforming him, and he took every opportunity he could to spout endless nonsense. That's really what happened. The media kept platforming because at the end of the day, for most of these shows, and I noticed they mentioned it on the Sunday Roast actually, it's the news business. Question Time normally gets on people who can get views, and I don't think there's many media people who can get as many views as Nigel Farage, because at the end of the day, he's controversial. So what that means is people will post and retweet and all this stuff and get outraged, and it gets more views and it feeds the engine, and it kind of gets Farage more and more kind of interviews and things like that. That's one of the major problems we have with the media, and so they kept platforming him because he gets views. That's all it is. 24.2k views on this tweet from fairly recently, from today really, and that's one of the reasons they put him up. He makes the money at the end of the day. It's a really kind of symbiotic relationship. But yeah, Farage is back, so we'll see how that goes for him. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.